Lord, I'm glad I know him today. Amen. I'm so glad to have you all. And there's a lady here today that used to be with us and come to church, but she's moved away. And this morning she's back, Barb Lutz. We're so glad to have you this morning. Haven't seen you in a while. And, you look real good sitting there. Maybe you'll move back. No hope, huh? Well, we appreciate you so much. I was sitting there thinking, there's people in this audience today, and a lot of times that I never thought that when I worked with them that I would ever, we'd be in church together here at Hickory Grove. And Judy worked in the office, and of course I worked I wasn't an office worker, let's put it that way. And I saw her and everything, and go through and fill out a lost time record, but I never imagined the day that you would be sitting and listening to me. But we're glad you are, and we appreciate it. And Paula and some of the rest of you here that we worked with. This is a glorious day. Let's make the best of it. And in the 25th verse of the 11th chapter of St. John, I would like to read to you this morning, and I won't keep you long, but this is a precious day. Wonderful, wonderful dramas they put on each night. And as I told them both nights, I said, I wanted to be in it. And they said, well, when we ever have a part that we need for Methuselah, we'll let you in. But they didn't have one, so I didn't get in.
What did you say, Brother Emmett?
11th chapter of St. John, verse 25, 26. We'll have our multimedia back next week, I guess. Oh, don't forget next Sunday night, great revival. Mike Blanton and Teresa, and they're just great, singing, preaching for us. Next Sunday evening, that starts 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and we hope you'll come and be with us. Jesus said unto her, talking to Mary, I am the resurrection and the life. He that believeth in me, though he were dead, yet shall he live. And whosoever liveth and believeth in me shall never die. Believest thou this? Jesus was trying to explain to Mary, because this was a mystery. When Jesus came on the scene, and they called him Rabbi, which is Father, and there had been rabbis throughout the history, but now a new rabbi was in town. And he had a different name, a different way, one that people had never seen before. It's the final dispensation. And that's what we're living in today, is the final dispensation. First there was the law, then there was the prophets. And now when Jesus came, many thought he was a prophet. And then a lot of folks say today that he wasn't the Savior of the world. All he was a prophet. He was a good man. That's what Islam says. But he wasn't the Savior of the world. There were some who wouldn't believe him then and thought that he was some kind of a devil, even on certain occasions. He came acting like a human being on one side, and yet on the other side, he was spiritual completely. But when he went to the wedding at Cana of Galilee, and they were having the reception, I suppose what we'd call it today, I don't know just exactly how the Jewish tradition had weddings and so on, but I understand they still do it today. But when they ran out of wine, they got excited. That was the party, the wedding thing, like we'd have the drinks, and you'd go over and have your plate full, and there'd be no Coke on the table, and be no 7-Up, no coffee, and everything. Somebody would get excited if that happened, because you had all these guests, and you had to feed them, and you had to give them wine and all of that, and they just thought they were up against the wall. So they went and told Jesus' mother about it. Probably, what are we going to do? There's still more people coming in, and we don't have enough wine. What are we going to do? And her mother pointed to Jesus and said, whatsoever he saith, do it. When you get in a bind and you get in a place where you don't know what you're going to do, and you don't know which end is up, which wind is sideways, north is west and east, you've got it all mixed up, and You're just in a place where you don't know what to do. Take that advice that Jesus' mother gave to the people of the wedding. Whatever he saith unto you, you go do it. And when they went and told Jesus about it, he just walked over in this big container that it was. And this wine was a traditional wine that was in certain containers. And then Jesus, it was water. Now this water wasn't part of the celebration. But when Jesus touched it, it became part of the celebration. You know, there's a lot of things not part of the celebration in your life, and that's because you don't have Jesus. You see us shout and see us get happy, see us the glow on our face and the joy that we have, and how that through the hard times we still smile, and how through the valleys we still go on and we don't give up. You know, that's the new man came, and that's why that sometimes you're on the outside looking in. You don't realize really what's going on in our life. It's because Jesus Christ is there, and he is the one that can take water and turn it into wine. And whatever you've got in your life today, he can take it and he can turn it into joy and peace. You might be full of dread. You might be full of sorrow. You might be full of confusion. You might be full of so much things that you dread to get up in the morning. But thank God when Jesus Christ comes in your life, the first thing you do when you wake up of a morning is look towards heaven and say, I thank God for another day. I thank God for another time. I thank God for another blessing. I thank God for another breakfast. I thank God when I sit down, Lord, that I've got clothes to put on and shoes on my feet. I thank God that if I'm not sick today, that I can get up and go and I can do things. That's something you never forget to do when you're a Christian and you know what's going on. But someone may hear you saying this and say, what in the world? I've had people to ask me. I know where we work, you weren't allowed to whistle, and above all, I guess singing wasn't allowed either, especially my kind of singing. But one day I walked up through the aisle and I was thinking about the Lord, and it's Christmas time, and I was singing some song. I don't remember what it was, but it's some hymn or Christmas song, I don't remember. But the main man of the place walked up behind me, and I was just singing away, and I kind of forgot where I was at. I heard this voice say, Charlie, you sound awful happy this morning. I looked around and seen who it was. I didn't faint or anything. I just said, yes, I've got more to be happy for than I have to complain about. He said, isn't that right? Walked on. I thought I might be in the office in a little bit, but thank God I wasn't. I got away with it. You know why? Because I was praising the man, the majestic man of the world, whose name was Jesus Christ. And even then, he made others see that there was something greater than maybe what that they think about in life. But Jesus went over and turned this water into wine. This water was used in the Jewish rituals and so on for a celebration. But now the Jewish rituals and celebrations were becoming a thing of the past. They didn't like to hear it. They didn't want to hear it. But nevertheless, I want you to know that not now was the rabbi in town. Not only was the rabbi in town, but thank God the Savior of the world is in town. When he told Mary, he said, Jesus said, I am. If you remember when Moses went down to lead the children of Israel out of bondage, and he asked God, how are they going to recognize me? What am I going to say? Who am I? And God said, just go down and said, I am